First micro mini we're going to make here today is the little notebook mini. This is one that I've made obviously in the bigger size. So this is just a mini scrapbook with large pages to put some photographs for journaling. So my follower that requested asked to put all the books to measure 3 inches by 2 inches. So to do this we need to get a piece of paper first. That measure is 6 inches by 12 inches. So just bring a piece of paper here on my paper trimmer. Now, as I said, I'm just using scraps from my crafty stash to make these different micro minis. So don't go buying anything special for these. These are great little projects that you can make with papers from your crafty stash. See, I've got a few wavy bits just there, so we'll get rid of those. I put a lot along my paper trimmer actually, but there we go. Right, they're out the way. Then you need your scoreboard, and I'm going to have this side showing, okay, and then on the long side, which is the 12-inch side, you're going to need this to be scored at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches and 10 inches. Now, as you know, I like to double score, so I'm just going to turn over and score again at 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. Then going to do a quarter turn, sorry. So on the short side we're now going to score that in 3 inches. So double score that again at 3 inches. Now also, as I said in the beginning, because I have got a couple of followers that follow me that are deaf, so I'm just going to bring in my template to show you the scoring. Now I will put a photograph of this also on my website, so for those of the hard of hearing that can't hear my videos, they can still join in. So on the long side we've scored at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches and 10 inches. And then on the short side we just score at 3 inches. We're going to fold our score lines. So we'll just get all these burnished along. Using the flat side of my bone folder. So we've just got those concertinas along like that. And then the next thing we need to do is to do a half fold. Now if I bring my template in, you can see I then cut just down to the first score line. Okay, so you need to do that. So I'm just going to do that with a pair of scissors. You can use your paper trimmer, no problem at all. Do whatever you feel comfortable with, really. Okay, and then we're going to start concertinaing this up. So we're going to go Valley and Mountain folds all the way along. So if I move the template out of the way, so that then creates our little micro notebook. So what we need to now do is go ahead and glue this. You could leave these top pockets open if you wanted to add some little tags, entirely up to you. But if you look in the bigger version that we've done, I've sealed mine up to keep it quite a nice neat little micro mini. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these glued. So I'm just using some Calal all-purpose glue here for this. So can use double-sided tape if you feel more comfortable, or even a tape runner, entirely your choice. As I say, I'm just using the Calal here today. It's very quick as well, and it also sturdies your books up. That's the beauty that I like about it. So you can use PVA, as I say, so any of the glues, wet, dry, tapes, it doesn't matter at all. So your personal preference. Okay, so that's the main basics of our little micro notebook. So the next thing I need to now do is go ahead and decorate that. So I'm going to get that decorated and then I'll come back to you. So see you in a minute. A plain little notebook is now all stuck together and I'm happy with that. As I said, you could leave the top open and just seal round the sides and put some tags in if you wish, but the lady put a request in for a 2x3 micro mini, so that's what I've made, is a 2x3 micro mini. And then to cover this, I've cut another piece of the paper collection here. I've just glittered this up with some stickles, so I've put some of those on there already that they're drying. And then what I've done with this, I've done a little 1/4 inch, don't know that you can quite see that, I've done a 1/4 inch spine on there, so I've scored each side at 1/4 inch, so we can attach a cover to our book. You don't have to add a cover, you could use what's already here, but obviously because you're folding it over, you're going to get one the right way around and one upside down. And also I think to tidy up the spine here as well, so that's why I'm wanting to put this little cover on. Now obviously this is going to be a little too big, but the best thing I find is to stick it on and then cut your covers. So let's go ahead and get this stuck on. I'm going to use a tape runner for this, so just put some tape on here. I'll probably use wet glue normally, just to make it nice and strong as well, as I say, because the Calal does tend to make it nice and strong. So as you can see, I'm just attaching one side there. I'm just going to take that because I'm not quite happy with the way that's going. So just take your time with this. So get that lined up to where you want it. I'm happy with that now. So as you can see, we're not going to have, like normal covers, a lip all the way around, because obviously I'm keeping it within the measurement. But if you wanted to make this micro mini and you're not too concerned about the measurement, if I was you, I would put your book so you've got a little lip all the way around, but it's personal choice entirely. So but I'm making it at the moment to the measurements that was requested. So I just hope the lady likes what I've done, because she put the comment to go with these albums on my YouTube channel, so I'm hoping this is what she'd like. So I'm giving her 3 versions, if you like, here of little micro minis that are measuring that size. So that's the covers on those. Okay, so that's as easy as it is to do, but I would put a little spine there, because as you can see, once all the papers are together, you do need to have that little spine. You couldn't just do that flat. And then obviously what I'm going to do in here is just get my scissors, because obviously I'm not going to have a lip round this, because making it the correct measurement, and then just snip away the bits you don't want, because obviously this was too big. And again at the bottom. In some ways, if you're not quite confident about getting things the right size, I would suggest doing it like this as well. So because there's nothing worse than cutting your papers how you want them and then it doesn't fit. So that's our little notebook micro mini. So it's just got the plain pages inside, ready to add some photographs or journaling, and then you can decorate it if you wish. But it's a nice little micro mini coming in at the 2 inches by 3 inches, so perfect for what the lady requested. Got a nice little bit of interest there on the outside as well, but it's a great little mini. You could put that on a keyring chain. If I was going to do that, I would just attach that to the front cover. You could even hang that in your handbag, so it's a nice little book. So that's the notebook, so that's all finished. So if you wanted to have a look at the next video, we're going to do the notebook with pockets in. So if you'd like to have a look at that, that's on the next one on the playlist. Another micro mini you can make, and this is using a full set or a full sheet of 12 by 12. Again, making the mini that it fits 2 inches by 3 inches. If you get your sheet of 12 by 12 and score at 3 inches and 6 inches and 9 inches, do a quarter turn and score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches and 10 inches. Now to do this mini, you don't have to have double-sided paper as well. You can do it on single-sided paper. I'm using graphic 45 here, so it is quite thick. So just go ahead now and burnish all the score lines that we've made. If you're going to also do this, you need to have a pattern on your paper that is generic. In other words, it doesn't matter which way round it is. Like I've got teacups and that here, so that is going to have to be hidden. I'm going to have to use the dots because it doesn't matter which way round the dots go. So whereas a pattern like I've got on this side will not work because you'll have upside down cups and what have you. So just bear that in mind as well when doing this one. It's very similar to the notebook, but just the fact that we're using a whole sheet of 12 by 12 rather than a small amount. So it just gives you another way of making a micro mini. This one will be obviously thicker because we're using a whole sheet, so the spine will be wider, but just gives you another option for those of you out there that like to have a go at different things. So as I say, this is for Jill, who put a post on my YouTube channel to say would I do this for her. So I think for this one we're going to trim along this way. So on your first score lines you need to cut up to your last score line, and then stop, and then you do a half turn and we do the same again on the next score line. This is just going to make a note book one again, so plenty of space on the pages to put photographs and journaling. Do a quarter turn again, so as you can see with these, you can make these pages any size you wish really. So I've got a trim up there to the first score line, then a trim down here to this first score line, and a trim up there to that first score line. And what you're going to do is you're going to concertina along. So just concertina along. This will then give you a micro mini in the size that the lady has requested, Jill. This is obviously going to be a bit thicker, so depending on what she was using it for, this makes a nice little substantial album. The construction after this is going to be exactly the same as the notebook one that we've done. As you can see, as we're concertina folding this, you've got to make sure when you glue it that you glue everything straight. So you need to then go back. You've got your front and back cover. Now with this you could add, I'll bring in this one. You could do like I've done here, and I've just done a little wrap round spine that just comes in 3/4 of an inch on each side, and I've added some lace to it. Or you can do like we've done on the little micro mini, which is exactly the same but not as many pages, and you could do a wrap round cover around the whole thing. Okay, so you've got two options there of finishing this off, and then what you have to do is go along and glue all your pages. So once they're all glued together, you're going to have a little micro mini album that got plenty of space for adding photographs, adding journaling, whatever you wish. So because the pages, actually my covers here, this isn't looking too bad with just the flowers there, so it doesn't look too upside down. So I might be tempted with this just to put a little wrap round cover with some of the scrap I've got left to finish that off. So that's another way of doing it with your 12x12 sheet if you wanted to do it the 12x12 sheet. Okay, so that just gives you another option.